The CAA wants to highlight the wide-ranging implications of auto theft. They say that if the rate of auto theft does not go down, it's going to lead to an increase in auto-related costs that could become unbearable for drivers in Ontario, many of whom are already struggling with affordability.
And for more on these concerns, we're joined by Elliot Silverstein. He is the Director of Government Relations with CAA Insurance. Elliot, thank you so much for joining us. You say consumers are at a tipping point. What are you seeing? What are you hearing?
Well, I mean, the issue of vehicle theft has been significant for the last couple of years. And really what we're finding right now is it's taking a long time to get vehicles in people's hands when they have to get a new one issued. There's issues with parts and time frames in that respect. But also given the fact that, when you're getting a new vehicle, the price point is different than what it was several years back. Even your interest rates may be the same. So people have to, realize that, if they have their car stolen, it's not just the traumatic experience of having your car stolen, but there's also some financial implications down the road that you may be paying more than you did before.
Okay, Elliot, can you walk us through the process of what it is like if your car is stolen?
If you run into a situation where your car is stolen, obviously there's two things you need to do. One is speak with law enforcement and get that reported right away. The second part is to speak to your insurance company and get that taken care of. And again, each company will do their due diligence. And then after things are assessed, then it's a matter of paying out the value of the car and then having to get a new car issued.
Right. I want to talk about how complicated this can be, because police services have said, the rise in auto thefts is a really complicated problem to solve. The technology is outdated. There aren't a number of measures we can use. How do we combat this issue? What do you have in mind in terms of solutions?
So to solve this problem, it requires multiple elements and it requires multiple industries to work on this. So we need from the federal government and from manufacturers, we need to see a tightening of the vehicle standards, which have not been updated in 17 years. And when you think about where we were 17 years ago, we didn't have push button starts. Now we have iPhones, we have different tablets and so forth. All these technologies are out there, but the standards in our car remain fairly archaic in that respect. But it's also the responsibility of consumers to protect their vehicles, using garages, locking their doors, taking those types of practices as well. It really is a coordinated approach. We've seen wonderful work by law enforcement to bring things forward in terms of education and awareness. This is not going to be solved in one day, but what we need to do is to try and stop this from surging and deal with the vehicles that are impacted right now. And hopefully, in a short amount of time, see that these numbers and these trends are going down, because the last thing we want is for people to experience things like home invasions to get access to keys and so forth, because again, there's a huge desire for some of these vehicles, and we want to keep people safe first and foremost.
Okay, you did mention some tips for consumers. What can we do, like as a community, as a group, in order to prevent auto theft?
So there's a few things that you can do, and it really varies based on where you live and your lifestyle. So for example, if you have a garage and you're not using it, now's a good time to start cleaning out that garage and getting your car inside. If you have multiple vehicles, park the lesser valued vehicle closer to the street. So that way it makes it harder for thieves to get access to a higher valued vehicle. If you have a remote entry, consider a Faraday pouch to keep your key fob inside. But also don't keep your keys at the front of the house, because that's an easy access if somebody were to break into your home. But also, consider a steering wheel column lock, like a club, because those are visual deterrents. And really what we've seen is that not everybody is taking these steps. And some of these steps are habit changing. Again, it's not a huge financial cost. It's not a huge challenge for people to make these changes. We just become comfortable, and we enjoy some of the technologies that are in our cars, push button starts, remote entry, and so forth. But they also have been used in many ways as a mechanism to get into the cars. So we have to do our part to keep our cars safe.
Yeah, better to be safe than sorry. Elliot Silverstein, Director of Government Relations with CAA Insurance. Thanks so much for this conversation.
Thanks, Elliot.
Thank you.